Good morning, friends. My name is Azrika, and today we are going to listen one of the stories from the book Grimm's Fairy Tales. The story's name is A Good Bargain. The book is written by the Grimm Brothers. So let's start the story. Once a peasant drove his cow to a fair and sold her for $7. On the way home, he had to pass a pond. From a mile away, he could hear the frog say, "Ike, Ike, Ike, Ike." When he reached the pond, the frog still cried, "Ike, Ike, Ike, Ike." The peasant cried, You lousy frogs, you are screaming without a reason or rhyme. And still, these are seven I have received, not eight. But the frog still cried, "Ike, Ike, Ike, Ike." The peasant cried out, "Well, you still don't believe me? Well, I'll count it to you. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's no more dollars for the eighth one." But the frog still cried, "Ike, Ike, Ike, Ike." The peasant said, "Well, if you are determined to know better than me, you can count it yourself and then give it back to me." And he threw his all the money into the water. Still the frogs cried, "Ike, Ike, Ike, Ike." And on top of that, they didn't return his money. When evening came, he was forced to return home. He cried out to the frogs, "You lousy lizards! You goggle eyes! You rat faces! You scream and scream until one's ears hurt. But you ike without no reason or rhythm." And with that, he left the pond to his home. A little time far, he bought another cow. This time he killed the cow and thought that if I sell the meat for a little more price than the other marketeers, I'll make my money more than I had in two cows. So he gone to the market. On his way to the butcher's shop, he met dogs, a valley of dogs. The dog leader cried out to them at him, "Oh, wow, wow, wow." The peasant said, "Well, dog, I know what you're wanting. You're wanting the meat, but I can't give you. If I give it to you, I'll fare badly." But the dog still cried, "Wow, wow, wow, wow." The peasant said, "Well, if you are determined, so promise me not to eat it all yourself and give it to the butcher." The dog cried. "Wow, wow, wow, wow." The peasant said, "Okay, but give me my money from the butcher in 3 days. Okay?" And he threw the meat to the dogs. He went home and thought that the dogs will bring him his money in 3 days, and he happily slept that night. In 2 days' time, his money didn't come to him. On the third day's night, he thought to himself, "If now the butcher didn't give me my money, I'll go to him." So he went to the butcher. When he told the butcher to give his money, the butcher said, "Well, get off, you're joking." But the man said, "Did the dog I told to bring the meat to you not bring?" The butcher said, but the butcher had enough. He drove the peasant out with his stick. Then the peasant went to the king. He said, "First the frogs, then the dogs, and then everybody. And what the butcher paid me in for? In sticks." Then he explained the whole story to the king. The king laughed out loud and his daughter rolled with laughter. The king said to the peasant, "Well, peasant, I can't say anything in this case, but I'll give you my daughter in return. For I promised everyone in the kingdom that whoever makes her laugh can have her as the wife." The peasant said, "Oh, no, your majesty, I don't want her to be my wife. I have one wife already, and I don't want wives in every corner when I go home, or wives staring at me all day, or wives beating me when I do something wrong." The king grew angry. He said, "You are such a fool." But the peasant said, "What you can expect from the ox but beef?" The king said, "Wait, don't go yet. I'll give you 500 heavy thalers for making my daughter laugh. So come to me in 3 days' time." The peasant went off to the door, and the guard said to him, "You must have fared very well because you made the king's daughter laugh." The peasant said, "Yeah, the king promised me to give me 500 heavy thalers." The guard said to him, "What will you do with so much money? Give me some of it, please." So the peasant gave the guard promised to give the guard 200 of his heavy thalers. On that, there was a Jew standing by, and he told the peasant that what you will do with such a big note. I'll give you change for it. So the peasant promised to give him 300 heavy thalers for his kindness. Then the Jew went home happily and thought that I'll give him only 200 and I'll give him only 200 change out of 300. So when the peasant went into the king in 3 days. The king took out his whip and was even beginning to whip the peasant when the peasant said to him, "Oh, dear king, I have promised the guard that I'll give him 200 heavy thalers, and the Jew have promised that I'll give him 300 heavy thalers. So please give them my money." But the king had planned to give them whipping. But as the peasant had given all his money to the Jew and the guards, they had got all the beatings. Then the king's anger grew cool, and he said to the peasant, "Well, man, it was enough of beating. Now go to my treasure and take out as much money as you can." So the peasant didn't need to tell twice. He went to the kingdom's treasure and stuffed as much jewels and gold coins in his backpack as he could. And he went to an inn to count all his money. He muttered to him, but the Jew was following him. Upon reaching the inn, he muttered to himself, "The rough of a king had given me this money so that I won't be able to know how much I got. Why can't he give the money to himself? Well, I know your plan, rough king." The Jew said, "Thank goodness, he's speaking rough for our king. I'll go to the king and he'll give me reward for it." So the Jew went to the king and told him, "Oh, dear king, your majesty, the man you gave the money is speaking rough of you." The king ordered Jew to bring him now to him. He went to the peasant and told him, "Well, peasant, come to me. The king wants you again. You don't even have time to change clothes." But the peasant said, "I am a rich man now. Why would I wear a poor man's clothes? I'll suddenly go and wear another coat." But the Jew thought that if he got laid by bringing the peasant to the king will not give the peasant punishment, and the Jew will lose his reward. So he said to the peasant, "Well, dear friend, I'll give you my coat, but only out of greatness of my nature." And then they both went to the king. The king said to the peasant that if he had any tellings about his serious charges, he could. So the peasant said, "Well, your majesty, I can't say anything about your order, but the Jew is a total liar. Even he says that my coat is his." The Jew shouted, "Is this coat not I lent to you? Is this what? You are lying? Is this coat I lent to you? Please, dear king, believe me." But the king had enough of the Jew and told his soldiers to give him, the Jew, another beating of 300 more whips. And the peasant went home in good money, good coat, and good mind. And he laughed. Now I have hit it, he shouted. Thank you.